Hi friends, my name is Borrodante, and I'm very excited to welcome you to the last episode of Lake of Ghosts. So this is the process up until today, and these are your suggestions. It seems like a lot, but there are actually just a few of them. They're just about big surfaces. Okay, so the first one is something's odd about the dude, and especially his thumbs. They are a bit too long, so we're gonna shorten them. And I think we should lower the shoulders or something. I'm not sure. I might not even change anything, because we already improved him a lot, this guy, and I don't know. He seems more or less okay. What else? Yeah, all the ghosts kind of look like clowns now with this glowing thing on their faces. We don't really have to change much, we just have to change the values. Like this ghost, I think she doesn't look like a clown at all. But this one does, because the glow is too strong, and it really looks like the makeup of a clown. What else? The glowing branches, they should go further into the water, and there should be more spots under the water. So we would actually see the connection between this magic she is doing on top of the water with the ghosts waking up. Plus, this way we'll be able to show that there's a lot of them underwater. What else? Yeah, this ghost should be darker and that ghost should be foggier. Because this is the front plane and the back plane. They shouldn't get too much attention, because right now you kind of can't concentrate on anything because everything is in focus. So there's that. And then I think we should improve a lot the details on the water. The reflection, the any kind of growth on it, the lily pads. Because another one of suggestions was about the feeling of the wrong perspective. Like this ghost, for instance, looks too big comparing to these characters for some of you. And I think that's not because of the geometry, because we pretty much nailed the geometry with the Nezumi. But the problem is that water doesn't really show the perspective going bigger closer to the camera. And this is what this symbol means. We should actually follow the perspective with our details to show that this is really close. I think this kind of reflection right here should go away, and these waves should be a lot bigger and less detailed, because this feels like it's still very far away from the camera, and that's super wrong. That's exactly what's misleading a lot. Okay, oh, and the last one, we should make the lantern a lot brighter. Which actually makes sense, because this is about the exposure. It's really dark, so our eyes adjust to everything being dark, and then there's just one lantern that lights up everything around it, so it's supposed to be really bright. So I think we'll increase the glow. I'm not sure if we're gonna increase the brightness too much, because I don't want to lose any details. It looks really nice. Anyway, let's start with the guy. Let's do the obvious thing, the long thumbnails. Okay, and this one's at the angle, so the thumb really wouldn't go too far, but it should be a lot lower here. Yeah, I think this is way better. Let's see, what can we do about the head, the face, and the neck? I really can't see anything. Well, kind of a weird something going on in here. Let's add a little more hair at the back of the head and a little bit of rim light. Kind of cool, I think he looks better this way actually. Okay, what else? Let's start with foggying this ghost and darkening this ghost to make everything look more focused. And actually water should become a lot darker here. That's what I forgot about, because this is where Fresnel effect also works. The closer water gets to the horizon, the stronger the angle becomes, and it becomes like a mirror. But if you're looking at it like this, it's transparent. So when it's closer to the camera, it's supposed to be a lot more transparent. Same as lily pads, by the way. They also reflect a lot, and they shouldn't when they're close to the camera. Oh yes, this is so much better this way. Whoa. Still have to fix the scale of waves close to the camera, but the fact that we are darker at the bottom, it not only works best for the composition, it's actually physically more correct. Now let's fog down that one. Now she's actually far away, that's cool. I kind of forgot about the whole fog thing. Even if there wouldn't be any fog in the scene, she would still have to be foggy. Maybe a bit less, but that has to take place. Now let's fix the clown heads, and then do the branches of the magic. Let's see, why that other ghost looks better, because the glow is more local. And we just see a tiny bit of translucency from the rest of it on the other surface of the face. And here is just insane, it's like painted on the face. This is not okay, we should tone it down and only leave it bright right next to the holes. Let's do so. Now she has mustache. Well, what about now? Better, but I feel it needs something more. Okay, I'm letting it go for now. Let's add darkness in here as well then. At least here. To complement the darkness of the face that we have going on now. Okay, cool. I think it's cool. You think it's cool? I think it's cool. Now. Well, this one looks awesome, I think. So it mostly was the problem with that one and the one that's in the fog. So it doesn't really matter much. Now it's time for the magic branches. Something like this. Should be careful with the color of it underwater. It should be kind of dim. Let's go through them and make them more accurate so it would look like we mean it. Yeah, they should be really brighter next to the core of the whole mess. Okay, this is starting to look rather cool. Decided to make them go dual for no fucking reason sometimes and then just go back to one again. Kinda looks cool and more interesting, and totally not a lightning now. This looks really cool now, like, after I slowed down and actually paid attention to the shape of these branches, they started looking really awesome. Maybe should tone them down somewhere or something like that. Actually, we need to add even more in the beginning. This is me trying to simulate the distortion from water wave. As always, successful. A little bit of distortion from the pad, although we still haven't decided completely on the shape of the pads. They have like, they're not perfect circles, they have like a thing. I was adding it here and there, but we should really look up the reference. Okay, this is it for the branches so far. Now let's work a lot on the water reflection and the lily pads. Now this is cool. Decided to add this, these branches kind of stuck to the face because we obviously made them going inside of the eyeballs and mouth. So now they're just like there on the surface of the skin. Kind of cool and, you know, tells the story. And it looks a lot more creepy. Adding some silhouettes into the water, using the glow, and then removing it a bit to show that there's someone underneath. So I guess this is it for the whole underwater mess. Now let's do the waves and distortion and reflection properly. I don't think we're actually gonna have any reflection of the lantern next to the camera. Like right here is supposed to be completely dark already. Because right now it kind of feels that yes, it's closer to the camera, but it's also kind of like water is rising to reflect the lantern. That might have been the biggest problem with the geometry actually. Wow, it feels a lot more correct now. Although the colors were better with this more of a warm thing. Let's do that. some distortion right away. Really concentrated on the distortions from waves. It's really hard to make it happen, like it's a giant amount of work, and I'm trying to fake it here and there. Like at certain areas, water should go more calm, I guess. This is kinda cool. Tiny reflections around lily pads. Looks nice. Real. How cool is that? Couple of tiny lily pads stuck on the shoulder of the ghost, creating like a volumetric shadow inside of the ghost. Kinda cool. Actually, like, works. Nah, have to rebuild this reflection. It's a pretty reflection, but not from the lake. More like from the river or the sea. Too wavy, it's not supposed to be like this. And I'm trying really hard to distort all the branches around, but that's like insane amount of work, and that's exactly what I'm not supposed to do if it's a lake. So let's rethink this a bit. Like, even considering the movement of ghosts in the water, which is not necessarily supposed to make waves since they're ghosts, but they're kind of physical ghosts we have here. Still, they're moving really slowly. It's not supposed to make a lot of waves. Kinda like this, just to calm water. It actually looks more realistic, because it's really hard to paint waves without a reference. Yeah, this is lame. This is much nicer. Now let's do the same thing for the moon, of course. Now, the moon is going to have a slight distortion from this ghost right here. She's creating waves. So we'll add those. Maybe a bit bigger. The whole moon thing is supposed to be a bit bigger, especially considering the amount of light it gives to the scene. Wow, this looks really cool, like actual water. Probably not everywhere, but let's keep trying. Alright, cool. I think we should add a pretty noticeable foggy blurry fog from all the branches underwater. Because right now they feel too clean, like they're not under a dirty lake water, but more like on the surface. And we obviously see that there's a lot of fog in the water from other glowing, so all the bright branches are supposed to be kind of blurred out a bit. Let's do that. Let's actually make it even simpler for us. Man, I'm so happy about new reflections. Awesome! I hope you agree. So we're gonna cheat here by using the finger tool with scattering effect that is creating just a really strong blur. And then we'll just adjust the opacity of this layer. Now, let's see how the transparency will work. Initially it's 40%. Ooh, baby. This is hot. So this is 68. Let's go a bit lower, I guess. But this is a good place to notice where I didn't do good blurring. This is actually such an amazing way to control the amount of contrast on details that are not supposed to be in the center of attention. Like right now, you may have noticed I'm adding this blur in the background, in the foreground, where there's too much contrast. And it creates this exact foggy blur that's just lowering the contrast for everything. It's just perfect. It's not actually like depth of field, but more like the painting kind of style thing. Awesome. Now let's clean the lily pads since they totally got into the effect of my strokes with the blurring brush. I don't even want to clean this one because it's on the edge of the screen. It kind of looks better this way here. This one? We mostly have to work on most of these lily pads anyway, so it doesn't really make much sense to clean them up. But I'm still gonna do it because I'm not a quitter. Wow, yeah. Oh my god, this is so right to do this. It actually saved the painting, I think, because these high contrast branches were really taking away all the attention, and this is like my biggest problem ever. When I start working on the details, I start spreading the attention of the viewer all over the painting, and it looks horrible. You don't even know what you're looking at anymore because everything looks important. Really cool. Now, let's merge everything together and just go here and there, maybe some lily pads, something on the background, like these middle ground lily pads need some work. We should add some of them here. Yeah, we shouldn't forget that we have this light as well. And it's actually kind of not so good. Like, I think it should be a bit more like this. And also, not so flat, like more dynamic shape. A lot brighter in the middle, and a lot dimmer on the edges. And let's add that extra glowing I was talking about before. Now, I remember one of the fronts mentioned that lily pads are supposed to have like roots under the water, and right now we're actually gonna see them. So, thanks for that one. Because I would totally not do that, actively not do that. I'm so far away from thinking about this. Almost forgot to add what I was postponing for the whole series, adding hair on top of the faces. Kind of cool. No, I don't really like it. It interferes unpleasantly with the features of the face. Nah, forget it. She is good as it is. I just realized what was bothering me about her hair. Her hair is wavy, that's fine. But it should be mostly wavy at the bottom. The top thing is never too wavy. It's only too wavy when it's been fixed with the hairstyle things and shit. So at the top we're going straight. And she looks much creepier this way as well, right? Yeah, she looks more wet. That's cool. Some freaky veins going under the skin that became visible due to the translucency effect. Yeah, it kinda looks awesome. Done. Well, I'm calling this done. You might have something to say about this, but I think this is it. But I know that probably someone might have something to say, but it's over. Don't call me anymore. And yeah, still gonna be fixing here and there while talking. But yeah, this turned out to be really cool. You can find this on DeviantArt, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna post a couple of pictures on Instagram, like couple of close-ups. So yes, this was the Lake of Ghosts. Thank you so much for your participation in this one, friends. You've been awesome with all the comments and support. Thank you very much. Mwah. And also, I thank you for watching if you did. I guess you did if you're here. Leave a like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Eat homemade food. Do whatever you want. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. On the lake, no one can see you shit your pants from fear.